Stark County Special Commission meeting. It's Wednesday, October 16th, 2024. It's 8:30. Do the Pledge of Allegiance. Get it right this time. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. I need to ratify the agenda. Looking for a motion.
Motion to ratify the agenda.
A motion, do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. All in favor, state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, motion carried. Okay, the only item on this meeting is the 2025 County Health Insurance Renewal Options.
Right. Joetta Piercy, Human Resources Director. And we got our renewal from Blue Cross Blue Shield for our current plan. And they quoted us a 14.3% increase. So we knew at least a 9% increase was coming. So we had gone out and did some RFPs for other plans. And the one other plan that was feasible for us to look at and competitive in pricing was Sanford Health. So on the Sanford Health plan, we would have the ability to not only have a traditional plan like we have now, but also a high deductible health plan. And that's something that we haven't ever offered before. And we have had a few people ask if we do offer that. And it can be a good option for some people, but not everybody. So, but it does give people an option. They're both the plan that is similar to ours is the Signature 500 plan, and that has the $500 deductible or $1,000 for two people or a family. A place where people could save is the out-of-pocket. Their out-of-pocket is $2,500 for a single, and that's the most you would pay in a year, or $5,000 for two people or a family. And that is a savings to what we currently have with Blue Cross Blue Shield. The other thing that I wanted to point out is the RX plan. With Blue Cross Blue Shield, we do have co-pays, but then you also pay a 20% co-insurance on those, which I think maybe increased drug costs a little bit for our employees, whereas Sanford just has the flat 0, 5, 20, and 35 co-pays with no co-insurance. So that's some of the highlights of that plan. And then with the high deductible health plan, of course, this is where everything goes towards your deductible. And then when you meet that, the plan pays 100% of the costs. So a single out-of-pocket is $3,500, and then two people or a family is $7,000. So if you have maintenance type expenses, that might not be the right plan for you because you do have to have the money up front type of a thing. I have a scenario where we could even fund an HSA because I think an HSA, a health savings account, is very important. You almost have to have one of those if you have a high deductible health plan so that you can pay for your things out of that plan.
Is there a match on the HSA?
We could set it up that way. You can fund them many different ways. We could do like $100 a month, matching funds, or we could do an upfront load. So that would take some of the risk off the employee, but then you take the risk that they might leave. Because with an HSA, that is the employee's account. So they take that with them. So.
It takes, okay.
Yeah, it's different than a flexible spending account. That's actually considered an employer account, whereas an HSA is considered an employee account. They own that bank account because they can keep putting money into that, the rest of their lives. They can use it for medical expenses. When they turn 65, they can actually take that money out and use it for other retirement type expenses.
And it's theirs, it goes with them wherever they go to
Yeah.
another job, anywhere, so they get it, it's on a credit card.
And they can, if you get a certain balance, then you start earning interest and you invest that money. It's kind of like another retirement account for people if they're able to get their balance up.
They are able not to have to use it.
Yeah, exactly, for sure.
So that would go with probably with some of the plans that have the higher deductibles.
That you can only have a health savings account with a high deductible health plan. So, let's say somebody chooses high deductible health plan this year, and then they decide that was not the right plan for me, and they go back to their traditional plan. They can't put money into their health savings account anymore.
Not even out of their pocket?
They could, probably after tax. Yeah, I think they could.
So why would you? So,
Yeah,
Savings plan?
yeah.
I mean,
I
if
mean,
you
depending what the
needed
interest
to,
rate
yeah,
is.
Well, if you're not good at budgeting, then that's.
yeah,
kinda-
yeah. So I guess my recommendation, to keep our premiums at where they are, with minimal increase, you'll see if we went to the Sanford Health, with almost the same exact plan, it's, only a $6.38 increase for single, $9.46 increase for employee and child, $6.52 increase for employee and spouse, and it's actually a decrease of $8.96 for family for the traditional plan. And then I was proposing that we could offer them high deductible health plan for zero premium and still fund it with $100 and pay less than we are now for the traditional plan.
Repeat that.
We could offer the high deductible health plan with zero premium for the employee. They wouldn't have to pay any premium, and we could fund it $100 a month or $1,200 a year for the employee and still pay less in premiums than we do for the other plans.
So when you switch
With
companies,
premium plus the $100? Would be less than the other one?
Yeah.
do people have to go and get I mean, sometimes when you get new health, you have to get physicals and all this type of stuff with that.
I think the biggest thing when we change health plans, it's not that uncommon anymore. Most providers are used to it the beginning of the year, but I think medications are the biggest thing. People have to get those prior authorized again and make sure they're on the formularies for the new insurance company. I think that was the biggest thing that we saw in the changing plans 2 years ago.
And sometimes when you switch between the two, then that plan may not cover, right, certain medications that the other plan did, or not the same dollar amount or a different variance. And it can be a lot of work for the,
Do you know if the Sanford plan has CHI as in-network? Because I think that's probably a big deal as well.
Sanford doesn't have any in or out of network except like if you, here in Dickinson that I'm aware of, but like they did say if you go to Mayo Clinic, you would have to get prior authorization for that.
So we had Sanford, right?
We did.
And we left strictly because of cost?
Cost, and the Indy PERS plan only offers single or family.
Okay.
They only have 2 tiers, which kind of costs some people
It's
more
still-
money than they need to pay.
So it's still that way?
Is it?
Now you
This
have the
is
child.
not the Indy PERS plan. This is Sanford, just private plan. We did get a quote for the Indy PERS plan, and it is still higher than what we pay now.
I have 2 questions. So, does Blue Cross, through our carrier now, do they have a high deductible plan?
They do, and that is on your sheet in that 4th column.
That's what that.
And the reason we've never offered one with them is because you pay just as much for that as you do for a traditional plan. There's no savings hardly at all. And so it doesn't make sense, you don't,
Okay, so they do offer the high deductible plan.
they do.
Okay.
Yep.
Is it possible to have 2 carriers? I mean, we can't if they offer the option if someone wanted that Sanford high deductible plan.
I don't think they would take us because they want volume of people.
Sure.
Yeah.
so I know that the other reason why was because they offered the 4 tiers, that we didn't go away from NDPERS. There was also a large percentage increase, and with us being able to have 4 tiers, those 26 people, we did have savings on that side. The only thing is that you think it's normal to switch plans every year? Because,
At least every 2 years, it's becoming kind of the norm.
Yeah, I think we've switched insurance 3 times in the last 4 or 5 years. It'd be, because you're always trying to get a better deal. And they'll get you sucked in. A year later, your rates are always higher. So this is pretty common. Yes, some insurance companies are way better than others too.
This would be a question for Karen. Did we budgeted for about a 19% increase?
yeah, as the budget currently stands, it covers whatever option you went with. I typed it in, I think at I typed in an overall, I would say 12% increase. I just went by what we were at this year and then added more because we're gonna be over this year because we had people add from the general fund. But we not only have our general fund insurance line, road has their own insurance line. So it's kind of spread out, right, between the budgets.
Because we budgeted last year for 650 in the general, and now we budgeted for 800, which is
Right,
about a 19%
because it was
increase.
coming in at about, the general fund this year, expense-wise, 6 months in, was coming in at around 360. So I know that we're gonna be over
Over
the
the 650.
650.
Yeah,
So I went to 800
yeah. Okay.
to account for an increase, right?
So not quite.
But that's just for the general fund, because like Al has a lot of the employees and his health insurance is budgeted for under his road account. So,
Well, I think part of it, the discussion, going back to previous years, was also not only the cost of the program, the benefits of the program, but participation. And we did change the level of support. I don't know if that's the correct term. A couple of years ago. Do you know? So like now, if I had the numbers correctly, we have 82 people participating in the policy.
Yeah.
Okay, what is that from 2 years ago when we changed the policy dynamics, to the single?
It's pretty much stayed exactly the same. We always have about 15 people or so that don't take our health insurance. Yeah.
Thanks.
Any other discussion?
Question, what is that? So like in Sanford, is it still like single and then married and then
They have
the same options?
4 tiers.
Okay.
Yep.
Is it like a single plus one?
Yes. So they have a single plus one, employee and children, and then family.
so I know with the PERS plan, we had a lot of people that, like it was like a couple, and we were paying family premiums on them. I'm guessing we had about 15 of them because it says here 15, so
Yep.
it's probably,
Plus
and then the parent and
children.
child one, they had a family premium that they had to pay too.
So, under Sanford's column 1, the SHP 500. I guess some of the package there is more beneficial than our current plan, and some of it is.
Yeah, it could be considered more beneficial. The single deductible is the same at 500, blue and the family deductible at 1,000. It does the Sanford does not have the employee and child one. So Blue Cross had that for $750. And then if you go down to the coinsurance is exactly the same, 80/20. And then if you go to the out-of-pocket, the single for Blue Cross Blue Shield is $3,000. Sanford is $2,500. Blue Cross had $4,500 for employee child. Sanford just has the $5,000. And then so it was $6,000 for employee, spouse, and family under Blue Cross Blue Shield, and it's $5,000 under Sanford. And then the preventative services are all covered at 100%. Your primary office, specialist office visits, and emergency room are all the exact same copays. And then the drugs are a bit different. Blue Cross Blue Shield used formulary and non-formulary drugs, and they had a copay plus 20% coinsurance, whereas Sanford just uses a generic drug formulary, preferred brand drug formulary, and non-preferred brand, and those are all just flat copays.
So have you talked to any of the department heads? I know that, we have some that their spouses or themselves, they do have these special prescription drugs that they have to get. Did you ask them, like, because we've been on Sanford, we've been on Blue Cross, which one was more beneficial for them as far as a prescription plan?
Just a few that came to me when we switched over, and they were wondering why their drugs were costing a different amount of money when we switched over to Blue Cross Blue Shield. And I think we came up with this 20% coinsurance is what made them a bit higher for them. I can't say that was every drug for everybody, but those were some things that we did discuss for those.
So they seen an increase because of the 20%.
Any other discussion?
Just one more question.
Yep.
Sorry. Under the Sanford's SHP 750, some of the deducts and copays are higher. I'm just wondering if you're thinking of doing a HSA thought at all. You could do that plan. Personally, I'm kind of in favor of the first one, the SHP 500, but you could do the 750, and we
Yeah,
could pay $50 towards an HSA, excuse me, and our cost would be about the same.
So instead of doing the 500 signature, you do the signature 750
So, yeah,
and the
HSA for $50 a month.
I don't think you can do the HSA with that lower deductible.
Yeah, you have to.
That's
what
a
she
Oh, you
said.
gotta be
traditional.
over on the.
Yep.
Yeah, you
Okay.
have to be on the high.
Yeah, the
deductible.
750, I thought, that was the first one that I was looking at. It looked good. It was a decrease. It's not that much higher of deductibles. But when I penciled out the difference between the premiums, that's what I have there, difference between 500 and 750. It's only $40 for a single a year savings, 144 for employee child, 168 for employee spouse, and 241 for a family. And so that wouldn't even cover the additional deductible, that they would have to pay.
So with that, get back on the HSA. So on the HSA account, if we would say for a single person 500, family and other 1,000, would we ask them to match that if we put 500 in and they put 500 in that HSA? That would ultimately allow them, or they put 1,000, we put 1,000 in the family plus, and they put 1,000 in. That'll definitely help them on their deductible for the year.
Yes.
So
yes.
and make their plan more affordable. But
I think we could do that. That was my first thought, was doing a match, but I just think we need to be cognizant that maybe not. I mean, in my mind, everybody could at least match what they're paying in premium now, right? You know, instead of paying their premium, they put it into an HSA. But I don't know, you know, if not everybody will always do that. But I think a match is a good idea, but I think also, I don't want to put all of our employees, you know,
And the good thing is.
in a
if they
bad
don't-
spot.
If they don't use it, they don't lose it, so.
Yeah.
And it carries over.
Yep.
Each year, so, you know, my experience with people with families, and especially children, they pretty much meet their deductible every year.
Yeah.
So, cold and flu season, in the hospital, so.
But in order for the county to see savings of an employee do a high deductible and an HSA account, you have to have like a good reason for them to choose that, right? Because as you're sitting right now, you
That's-
are already taking a discounted plan. Let's say if you're a single person, we pay 90% right now. For you to take a discounted plan and then do the $500 to the HSA, there's not enough of a benefit for me to switch to that, right?
Yeah.
Because
And I said that now if there was a match, there possibly would be. That HSA account
I
can
mean,
grow as well.
the draw really to go to a high deductible health plan for people is the HSA account. So if they can fully fund that, they could possibly start making interest if they don't have anything happen. So the most they can contribute in a year, a single can contribute $4,300, and a family can contribute $8,550. And so that is triple tax savings for them because they don't have to pay taxes on it now. They don't have to pay taxes on it when they pay their medical bills. And then down the road, they do have to pay income tax if they're over 65 and use it. Or, yeah.
But if you use it for Band-Aids and stuff like that, and medical, your prescriptions, it's not taxed.
No.
That money's not taxed.
No.
But if you do go to the grocery store and load up on groceries, you will be. Because you
Yes.
can utilize
Yes.
that card at a grocery store.
Yes, yes. You have to be careful of these debit cards because they're never, and the other thing is they only pay up to what's in the card. So it's not like a flexible spending account. So that's the other risk that people take is something happens to them January 3rd, they need money to pay for it and they don't have any money in their HSA account, you know, until we put it in there or they put it in there type of a thing. So that's the other benefit if you do some sort of a front load. I'm not saying maybe the whole 1,200 or whatever, but you know, half would be nice, maybe at least. I don't know. But it is a risk, especially the first year for people to go. Once they're on it a year, then they kind of get it figured out, whether it's the right plan.
Were you, and you proposed paying 100% of the premium if we went for an HSA?
If I proposed offering two plans, a traditional and a high deductible health plan, and they would pay zero premium for a high deductible health plan.
I mean, which, depending on who you are, but I mean, that's more money in their pocket every month.
not if they have a match, per se, right? Because like, right now, I want to say for a single plan, it's what, $60-something a month? So if you say, we'll put $100 in there, if you match the $100, you have this way higher deductible, you're paying more than what you would just to be on the,
Yeah, but the benefits are outweigh that difference significantly.
Well, at the end of the year, you're not paying taxes on it.
I mean,
Yeah,
you'd be
so-
leaving $1,200 on the table if that's what we were offering. You know, that's what I look at is we're offering $1,200 of money for you to also contribute to.
So what's the history on the the high deductible plan? And I know history doesn't guarantee future results, right? But I guess what I'm concerned about on the high deductible one is they trigger and they pull you in because there's a significant decrease in our current outlay in premium. Then all of a sudden we're doing this and taking some of the savings and putting it into the HSAs. And then a year from now, they come in and they say, well, the high deductible plan goes up 20%. Everybody's used to us paying X amount of dollars to the HSA, you know, that's kind of a slippery slope, I think, a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, you can always change what you contribute to the HSA, for sure.
Good luck with that.
Yeah. What's that?
Good luck with that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I agree.
Everybody's gonna perceive it as you pulling something away from them. If that plan goes up X, you know, so much, and they say, well, instead of $100, we're only gonna contribute $50, everybody's gonna perceive that, oh, they pulled $50 a month away from us. It's just
But
inevitable.
they're still paying zero premium.
I
mean,
get it, but they won't count, they won't talk about that
Yeah.
part.
So then the following year, right? And we see a big hike, okay, on our, if we switch to Sanford, we see a big hike. We can't switch to then Blue Cross and Blue Shield because they don't have that option, right?
Oh, the high deductible, you mean?
Well,
Yeah.
they do, but it's not very,
It's not as competitive as this. Yeah, yeah.
they do have it, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not saying we're gonna switch every single year. I think you probably need to be with a plan at least 2 years for them to get an accurate, you know, accounting of your claims and your people. And so typically, I would probably think it would be a 2-year type deal, but
I'm in
it's
favor
a
of-
changing landscape. Insurance is becoming a consumer's.
I'm in favor, obviously, the Sanford plans are a savings to the county, and I like the option of the HSA. It's not for everybody, but for
No,
some people,
yeah.
it's good. But my only reservation is when you change insurance and dealing with people's medications and, I mean, is there a guarantee that everybody, if they have pre-existing conditions, that we switch over to Sanford, are they gonna be accepted?
That's what I brought up earlier, yeah.
Yeah, and with health insurance, pre-existing conditions are covered because all of these people have been covered on a health plan. I can't guarantee the formularies are the same, though. I mean, we could look at formularies.
We have to make this decision now, because what's the cutoff date again? November 1?
Well, I want to start open enrollment November
Yeah.
1, yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And myself personally have been through this several times where I've had to switch insurance companies, and I'm also on a medication that I have to take the rest of my life, a couple of them, and I've never had any prescription issues. Whether, you know, there was one that had to be shipped to me, I couldn't pick it up at a pharmacy, they'd only ship it for 90 days at a time. I've never had one single issue with not getting my medication. So, you know, I get my card in the mail, tell them what my RX is. I've been contributing to an HSA for years and through different programs. And those programs, you know, I can roll that money over to the new HSA account with no problems whatsoever. With an HSA account, I believe under $6,000, at one point I was paying some kind of maintenance fee every year. It was a few bucks or whatever like that, and I never used the card. But once I had it over a certain figure, that maintenance fee was much smaller. So it's just like any kind of other investment. And I've never used it. And my thought set is, you know, if somebody's going to give me free money to put in to invest, you know, I can use this card when I'm 65 years old and have a limited income coming in and help pay for my prescription because it's going to stay with me forever.
So when your deductible comes due, you can choose to use that HSA, or you can use just to pay it out of your pocket.
Like right now, I got a job, I can pay it out of my pocket, but when I'm retired, it's gonna be nice to have that card to help supplement some of that down the road. That's my mindset.
Yeah, yeah.
And half of the money on there was free money given to me
Right.
for contributing.
So you have been in a program where they match, like if you contribute, they match it?
Yeah, I've been in where they matched me as a single employee,
Up
1,000.
to a certain
And
amount?
as a family, it was 2,000. So if the family had the family plan, if they put 2,000 in, the company put 2,000 in. So there's 4,000 a year.
Yeah.
You know, that's in that
Yeah.
account. And a lot of those guys, if you have a couple kids, a dentist appointments, physicals, sports physicals, all that other stuff, you run through that pretty quick.
You do? Yeah.
Any other discussion? Not a look for a motion.
So I'll throw one out for discussion. I would move that we adopt the SHP 500 plan. Sanford.
That's your motion then, just,
Yeah, I think it reflects the closest thing that we currently have at better value to the.
you have a motion, is there a second? Do you have a second?
I'll second.
Have a second. Any other discussion?
I guess I'd like to know what others' mindsets are.
Right.
I just wanted to get the discussion going here.
Well, so just to be clear, so it doesn't matter what plan we pick, either the 500 or the 750, we'll still be eligible for the high deductible plan. Is that correct?
Yep,
And
we can offer
The
two.
employees can choose either way.
Yep, they
Right.
can choose.
Okay, so to further this, if that's the case, is it, as far as contribution to the HSA, is that another motion, or is it?
I'm open to whatever, you know.
Well, then I guess, I will make the motion then, or open the conversation for a single, for the HSA contribution 500, for family 1,000, and EEO and spouse 1,000.
That's the motion that we have to vote on that one, so before.
Oh,
you-
I'm
He
sorry,
could-
that we
he could-
did.
He can amend it, and I would accept something if he wants.
And
to add it.
okay, let me do that then. I'd amend it to, for a single 500, and the other plan's 1,000 contribution match.
Do you agree with that in your motion?
Well, I'd like to know the cost on that.
So you want, I didn't catch it, single the 500 Sanford plan and then the HSA, the high deductible plan and a match? Is that what you said?
For the HSA account. So,
So do you have this sheet, the
Yes.
spreadsheet I did?
Nope.
Insurance options, Sanford Insurance Options.
it's on the email.
It would have been in your email, but
Okay.
you want to look at this one?
Anyway, I penciled that out, but I had to do like an all or nothing. So, I mean, if every single person switched to the high deductible health plan, our premium would only be $977,801 that we would pay. And then if we funded it with an additional $1,200 is what I had calculated, per person, it's $172,601.64
Total.
total.
And that's,
Would be our cost.
that reflects the motion that Corey just made.
Yeah, but this is with, if every single person did it, like, if everyone doesn't go to it, obviously,
Well,
it would.
What she proposed was basically $1,200 a year for all employees, single or family, right?
If they enrolled in a health savings, yeah.
He had
yeah.
proposed 500 for a single match,
1,000.
1,000 for a family. So grand total. I mean,
So if you get
with a $1,200 contribution from the county plus 0% premium for the employee,
Employee.
it's still a savings of 300,000 or 250,000 over
Current.
the current.
Well, without a match, it would be a savings of 90,000. But if we did a match for every single person, we would pay like $4,000 more. But that's not gonna happen.
But not everybody's going to
No.
switch.
Is there any
No.
data, I was just gonna ask that, is there any data that says in a typical policy like this, how many people, elect to do the HSA option?
No, no. I mean, it's so
It's all
individual.
It's all speculation.
Yeah, it's so individual. I mean,
I'm
a
sure.
lot of times I don't know, if you want to do some speculation, single people will switch a lot of times because, they have less of a risk. You only have to worry about one person. They can bank a lot of money, until they get a family. But not always, because if you're on like I said before, if you're on a maintenance medication and maybe this costs $1,000 retail, you don't have $1,000 if you want to pick up your medication in January, you know? So that's things that people have to think about. It's not an easy decision
Yeah, I
to
mean,
switch to these.
Yeah, the HSA requires some discipline. I think
Yeah.
Corey mentioned that he's very disciplined in what he does.
And I think a lot of people are shocked at the cost of prescriptions when they go to these high deductible health plans. Or even an office visit, you know, because you're used to paying $30 or $5 or $15, and then they go pay retail, and it's like, wow, this is a $200 drug, you know, or an office visit. That's usually what office visits cost too.
I'm sure HSAs are probably pretty comparable to people who contribute to 401Ks.
I mean, you can burn through that 7,000 out of pocket maximum quickly.
Oh, yes, oh, yes.
Yeah, one visit to the ER. No.
One step off a curb.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So I noticed in previous jobs, right, when they had different options, usually the ones that like don't mind the high deductible, honestly, were like the guys that were like in their early 20s range that really weren't going to go to the doctor unless they, lost a leg, right? So a lot of them would do the high deductible so that they didn't have to pay anything, right? But do we really have that at the county? I don't know. I think we're going to have some people, but I don't think it's going to be near the amount of people that you think are going to switch over.
I agree, but it's a nice option.
It's another
Yeah,
option.
it's nice to give people a choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a motion then. Do you have the motion?
I have amended motion, you have no second though on it, right? I didn't give a second to Corey's amended, right?
No, I guess the first one, Bernie had seconded, but it's been changed, so.
I can.
I would
I'll
have
second
to accept the
Amendment?
the amendment, which I'm willing to do as long as I, in the back of my mind, have some kind of cost reference. So if we have 33 individual people individually now, and the estimate is 50% of those people participate, we know what that number potentially is. And then if you lump the other categories together, and if there's a 50% participation based on $1,000, we know what that amount is approximately. Am I on path?
So on the maybe you don't have the one, but see the little box over on the right with HSA and the difference?
Yep.
So a single premium is $539.98, and then if you give them $100 a month, that's $639.98 we'd be paying for them in premium a month plus the HSA.
Right.
So we're still saving $34.12.
Yes, and the total cost of those approximately is the $1,091,000.
That's if everybody
ev-
switches
this
to
is
the
every
HSA,
single person.
which they're not.
Got $1,200 in their HSA.
But that's also assuming everybody right, so we're gonna have 50% in one of these columns.
Maybe.
And currently, we have roughly a quarter of the employees not even participating in health
Right,
insurance.
right. Okay.
Okay, so then the motion,
I'll accept his motion to take this.
and then
move it
you'll
Second
along.
that.
second that. Any other discussion? Roll call vote, Commissioner Messer,
Aye.
Commissioner Marsh,
Aye.
Commissioner White,
Aye.
Commissioner Claris.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, motion carried. Anything else?
So just to be clear, that motion was go to the signature 500 traditional with Sanford and the high deductible health plan with zero copay, and they get 500, singles get 500 in the HSA, and all others get 1,000
Correct.
in the match, okay. And we're matching this, like,
How?
up
Like,
to that amount, so.
They can put in whatever they want in
Okay.
there, but we will only match them up to the for a single
First
500.
500,
And for a
okay.
family, the first 1,000.
Okay, gotcha.
And that's
And they-
100% premium cost to the county in the HSA, is that correct?
Yeah,
Yeah.
And, they can put their max of 4,000, whatever they want. What was a family?
if, singles 4,300, families 8,550,
Okay.
yeah.
So I have a question about the match. If it's your own personal bank account, the HSA, I understand how they kind of work, but at the county level, how would we know that they put $500 in there or $1,000?
They do it through payroll deduct. So they sign up with me and then they, you know, they say, I want to do, and they can change it at any time. It's unlike Flex. So if they want to put $500 in January to get their match, they could. And then they could not contribute anything the rest of the year. Or, you know, they
You're
could.
gonna have to track it, is what you're saying? Like, because,
We open up an account for them. And
no, I mean,
then-
a track
oh.
as they put their match in. So let's
Yeah,
say
because
they
they
can't afford
have
to
to
put
do it.
$500 in
Because they do it
January.
pre-tax through us. So they have to tell us what they're putting in. And then we send it to the HSA.
And then once you get your HSA card, you can always call and they can tell you your balance any given time that's in there.
The employee, yeah.
Correct.
And the employee can make a contribution at any
But we
time he
don't need to
wants.
know their balance
Correct.
because we get it through payroll deduct.
But right, we will have to track through payroll when they meet their max of $500 and we stop matching.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
we're gonna
your
have to
account
be tracked.
balance will have to be a max of 500 or
So-
1,000.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, what we were paying 90% for, we're paying 100% for.
But you're paying 100% for all high deductible plans.
Right.
That's what your motion was. Yeah.
Okay, all clear?
Clear as mud.
Okay, if that's it. I look for a motion to adjourn.
Make the motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, state aye.
Aye.
Aye. Was opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.